Hey guys, this is Mishal and you are watching Q&A with Mishal, episode number 11. Now in this episode, I'm talking about how to become confident in front of the camera. I'm also talking about one of the most important consistent tool in any sales cycle. I am also talking about how to overcome criticism, how to overcome doubt and fear and take actions. And lastly, I'm talking about how not to get pissed when someone says that you can't do something or something is really impossible that you really want to do, okay? Let's not waste our time. Let's jump right into it. Right, what's my question number one?
Okay, so the first question for the day is how to be confident in front of the camera.
The reason you basically want to try and develop the skills because it is really important. If you're a solo entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're trying to establish some kind of a brand name for yourself in the business, it is important that you're going to have to start recording yourself. Now, also have to address the fact that it is really unnatural, right? I've done about sort of 72 videos at this stage, and every time I still have to sort of do something in front of the camera, I'm nervous, I'm anxious because it is not hardwired into our brain. Okay, so you have to give yourself a benefit of the doubt. Yes, you're gonna have to go through the phases where you think that, okay, you haven't got this thing figured out yet. But this skill is any other skill that you actually taught yourself up until this moment, right? Remember the time when I actually first taught myself how to drive. For the first 6 months, I was extremely underconfident every time I had to take my car out of my garage, right? I couldn't do sort of multiple things at once, right? So first of all, let's understand that there are basically 3 stages of competencies, right? First, you are consciously aware about your incompetencies, right? So when I couldn't drive, I was conscious about my incompetencies, that okay, I couldn't drive the car just yet. I did not know how to drive the car, right? So that's stage number 1. Number 2 is you're gonna become, once you acknowledge your incompetencies, obviously you're gonna start working on it one day at a time, right? So after some time, let's say about 3 months down the track, you're going to become consciously competent. So now you know how to drive the car, but you are still extremely conscious about it. So every time I used to sort of take my car out of the garage, I couldn't do multiple things while I'm driving. I couldn't have a really constructive conversation with someone who's sitting next to me, or every time I couldn't, in the beginning, I couldn't even put the radio on because I'm too focused on driving the car, right? And then I kept on doing it every single day. And then after sort of 12 months, it became my second nature. It became extremely normal for me. Now I would just sort of drive to my office and I just get to the destination and I wouldn't even remember how I got there, right? It's the same way. The camera, for the first 100 times, you're gonna suck. Your first 100 videos, you're gonna be really bad at it, right? You're just gonna have to accept the fact that this is just another one of those skills that you are trying to develop, and it's gonna take time. And if you're only going to sort of record 1 video a week, it's gonna take a lot of time for you to achieve that competency level. But if you are speaking in front of the camera every single day without judging yourself too much, eventually you're gonna come at a state this becomes a really natural conversation for you, right? So also understand this thing, right? Every time you're trying to record something, camera doesn't have its own opinion, okay? It is a non-living thing. It is not going to verbalize its criticism. It's not going to tell you that how bad you suck at this skill, right? It doesn't have any opinion. It doesn't matter what it thinks. It doesn't have its own mind to think about how you are performing in front of the camera, okay? But the only power the camera has is the power you give it to it. right? You just have to understand that it's just going to be there. All you're trying to do is trying to have a really honest conversation with someone who's sitting next to you. Like, for example, every time I'm having a conversation with someone face to face, I'm authentic. My head is in the game. I'm not thinking about how the other person is thinking about what I'm trying to tell him. I'm not thinking about how my message has been perceived, and that's why I have a really honest conversation. Now, same way, every time you're trying to sort of speak in front of the camera, just have an honest conversation with whatever that you're trying to say, right? It's not going to verbalize his opinion. And what I need you to do, if this is the skill that you are trying to develop, put your emotions and the feelings in the back pocket for the first 100th video. You have to accept the fact that you're going to get stuck at it. But if you're going to have to keep doing it and keep showing up in front of the camera again and again and again, and one day before you know, you can do this naturally out of your like you just got up and you can actually record a video. But until then, keep your mouth shut, keep your emotions in the back pocket, and keep hitting the record button.
So the second question is, how do you not get pissed on someone when they say that you can't do something or something you want to do is impossible?
Okay, so the simple answer is just don't get pissed. Okay, everyone's got an opinion, right? Just because someone's got an opinion doesn't mean that it has to become your ultimate truth. It's not the universal truth, and people are wrong about their opinions all the time. Understand this, put it into your mind, right? Let it sink into your heart what I'm saying. It other people's opinion and the judgments of you or what you're doing in your life doesn't have to become your reality. Okay, and people are wrong about their opinions all the time. And just because someone has an opinion about something right now doesn't mean that it's not going to change with the time. The moment you're going to start getting the results and start seeing a bit of attraction in your life, they're going to change their opinion. Like, I am wrong about my opinion so many times historically, right? And I don't have any shame, or I do not have any problem changing my opinion, right? How many times you were wrong about your opinions, okay? How many times you were wrong about some of the beliefs that you hold? You had all the evidences to believe that something is right, but then over the years you were proven wrong. How many times you thought that this person couldn't do anything with his life, and something happened with the person and he turned things around, and now you have a different opinion of him, right? So, like, we are wrong about the opinions all the time. Just don't take things personally. Okay, every time you're responding to someone else's opinion, right, you are actually giving away your power, right? So all the other person has to do to piss you off is to just open their mouth and tell you that you can't do something in your life. They're already messing up with your head. Even though someone's saying, like someone really close to you, like for example, your boyfriend, your parents, saying that you can't do something, just respectfully don't buy into that opinion, right? And you do not have to sort of get really angry, or you do not have to get really opinionated about what you believe in as well. You're just gonna have to keep your mouth shut and get to work. The moment you are going to start getting some results, the moment you're gonna start attracting some clients or anything that you're trying to create with your life, these people are going to change their opinion. The greatest revenge is massive success. So all you have to do is keep putting in the work, keep pushing and shoving, keep grinding, keep doing those extra hours, okay? And let your results make all the noise, and people always come around.
So the third question is, what is the most important tool in a consistent sales cycle?
So here's the thing about sales that you need to understand, that it doesn't matter how much money you are going to invest acquiring the best leads, right? Most qualified leads. It doesn't matter how much money you are going to invest acquiring the best CRM for your sales team, but if you haven't got the right mindset and right psychology around sales, you are never ever going to win this battle, right? First of all, if you are in sales, if you're in marketing, or you are an entrepreneur, you have to believe that from your bottom of your heart that every time you are actually taking the rejections, you are actually getting closer to that one yes, okay? If you are in sales and if you are taking rejections personally, that you're not going to be around for a long time. Eventually you're going to quit, because no sane person want to take rejections for a living, right? But if you tweak your psychology a little bit, and if you start looking at the rejections in a completely different light, that it can change the whole game, right? When I got into sales and marketing, I really told myself, okay, every time I'm actually getting rejected, every time someone is saying no, I'm actually getting closer to that one yes, and that is going to change my life, right? So if I had to take 100 rejections, 100 no to get to that one yes, now I'm excited. Because all I have to do is I just have to take rejections faster, because I know that something amazing is waiting for me once I get to the 100th rejection, right? So when someone says no to my products and services, or someone says no to my accent, or whatever the reason they're saying no to, I don't invest ounce of my energy figuring out why that person is saying no. Okay, I do not want to do business with people who do not want to do business with me. Okay, I'm not trying to sort of convert every person on the planet Earth, right? I know my client, I know my niche target, okay, and I only want to do business with people who want to do business with me, right? I only want to convert people who are already converted, right? Number two, you need to understand that what need you are trying to satisfy with your product and services. Okay, is your product is a status buy? For example, people do not buy Rolls Royce or a Ferrari or a Bentley, or they do not live in $1 million houses because of a necessity. Okay, it is a status buy. Anyone who buys an Apple product, it is not because Apple is the best product in the market. Okay, they have the best headphones, or they have the best features in the phone. Okay, people buy Apple because when people are working on an Apple product, it is actually amplifying their image. It is a status buy, right? So same way, if you're selling the insurance, it is not a status buy, it is a necessity buy. So whenever you are actually talking about your products and services, you make sure that you are addressing those needs, right? So everything is about the psychology, right? I can give you the best equipment. I can put you in the best office, but if you haven't got the right psychology around what you do, you're gonna lose, and you're gonna lose big time. You won't be around for more than like 2 months or 6 months.
So the last question for the episode is, how do you overcome criticism? How do you move past the doubt and fear and take actions?
Okay, so here's the thing about the criticism, right? Now, obviously there is a negative criticism. People are always going to tell you that you can't do something based on their own securities and based on their own incapabilities, right? And sometimes you're just going to have to sort of identify those people in your life who are always negative about what you're trying to do in your life, and you have to deliberately get them out of your circle, right? Because they are like energy vampires. Right? As I've said it so millions of times, that they're gonna suck every bit of life out of you, right? Now, the second one is constructive criticism. That basically comes from your manager, for example. That may comes from your boyfriend, or may comes from your teacher, or a lecturer, or a well-wisher. Then you have to objectively see it, because I wouldn't be where I am right now if I would be completely dismissive about all the criticism, right? That's the feedback, right? And if you act on the feedback, you become a better, able, and a faster version of yourself. The last one is the self-criticism, and that's the worst of all. It's that nagging voice inside your head that's always mapping you, always criticizing you. You're always beating yourself up for the small mistakes that you are doing. You're always comparing your work with the other people, right? When you are overly critical about yourself, you don't need external enemies to pull you down. You are doing a job for them. The moment you identify that you are doing this to yourself, you have to become the biggest cheerleader, right? You have to pump yourself up. You have to keep yourself motivated. Every time I'm about to sort of step in front of the camera, or about to have the most important meeting of my life, I really look at myself in the mirror, and I'm psyching myself up. I'm motivating myself. I am talking to myself that I can pull this off. Okay? And I'm always giving myself a breathing room. That shit happens. Okay, and things take time to get better. The second question is, how do we move past fears and doubts and take actions, right? So here's the thing that you need to understand about the fear. The 90% of the fears that we have are just in our head. right? They are not real. Fears basically stand for, the abbreviation of the fear is false expectations appearing real, right? And fear are basically, all these false expectations are basically the things that prevent us from doing things that we really want to do, to achieve things that we really want to achieve, right? Now, understand that some of the fears are real. Okay, like for example, as I've said it so many times, that thousands of years ago, when the deadliest animal in the jungle and the humans were living in the same civilization, right? Every time there is a rustle in the ground, there is a fear to be eaten alive by the deadliest animal. But right now, in year 2020, majority of our fears and insecurities are the figmentation of our imagination. It's not real. Okay, the moment you understand that, okay, just because something is uncomfortable doesn't mean that it is a bad thing, right? Just because every time you go to the gym, right, every time you're lifting the weights or you are on a treadmill, obviously it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, but that is not a bad thing for you, right? You have to learn, teach yourself to see fears as they are, not worse than they are. You have to see them objectively. You have to sort of ask yourself, whatever that you're going through at this stage, whatever the fear and the insecurities and the doubt that you have in your mind, how much truth is hidden in those fears? So every time you're going through some of those emotions where you're feeling a little bit anxious, when you are feeling fearful, understand this, that it's not going to kill you, right? It's not going to kill you. Like for example, when I was about to do my first presentations, I was like really scared out of my mind, right? Even though I had a really bad presentation, I was still alive, right? It didn't kill me. The person who's sitting across the table didn't eat me, right? When I was having the really difficult conversation with my client over the phone, even though I did not make a sale, even though he said no to my product, or the things that I'm trying to sort of sell and the message I'm trying to convey, he didn't agree with it, but that still didn't mean that I was in some kind of a trouble, right? So just see things as they are. You do not have to see things worse than they are. Start, look at your fears objectively and just take action. So that's the wrap, guys. You were watching Q&A with Mishal, episode number 11. These are your questions and I'm answering them. Now, if you have any question in regards to business, entrepreneurship, mindset, how to get the best out of yourself, how to get the best out of your team, please don't forget to put your questions at the bottom and I'm going to try and answer those questions in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around and I'll see you next time.